They thought they could break the spirit of a people. They were wrong. For generations, they had built new lives, carving existence from wilderness, only to find their freedom slowly eroding. The Crown's iron grip tightened across the vast Atlantic, seeing not citizens but subjects. Taxes piled high, laws dictated from afar, and every corner of their lives felt watched. How much could a people take before the breaking point? This is not just a story of war, but of an idea, a defiant spark that ignited a revolution, forever changing the course of human history. The streets of Boston hummed with a dangerous energy. Redcoat patrols were a constant, unwelcome presence, their gleaming bayonets a stark reminder of who was truly in charge. Every imported good, every transaction, carried the burden of a distant king's decree. Whispers of rebellion grew louder, turning into shouts. Pamphlets, printed in hushed secrecy, spread like wildfire, fueling the flames of discontent. They questioned the very right of a government to rule without consent. This was not merely about tea or taxes, it was about liberty itself. On a cold December night in 1773, that simmering rage boiled over. Under the cloak of darkness, disguised figures boarded ships in Boston Harbor. Not a shot was fired, but an act of defiance, so bold and theatrical, echoed across the globe. 342 chests of tea, a king's fortune, were plunged into the icy water. It was a declaration, not of war, but of intent. The response from London was swift and brutal, tightening the screws, further restricting colonial rights. Yet instead of crushing the spirit, it only forged a stronger resolve. From every colony, voices rose, uniting in a symphony of dissent. They began to organize, to arm themselves, to prepare for the unthinkable. Then, on a quiet dawn in April 1775, the unthinkable happened. British regulars marched into Lexington, seeking colonial arms. A single shot rang out, nobody knows from where. But that sound shattered the fragile peace and marked a point of no return. From that moment, the fighting spread like a fever. Farmers, shopkeepers, blacksmiths, they picked up their muskets not as soldiers, but as free men defending their homes. The air filled with the acrid smoke of gunpowder and the roar of cannon. These were citizen militias facing off against the most powerful army in the world. They were outmatched, outnumbered, and often outsupplied, yet they fought with a ferocity born of desperation and belief. Across the colonies, the need for a unified voice became undeniable. In Philadelphia, men gathered, their words heavy with destiny. The arguments were fierce, the stakes unimaginable. To declare independence was treason, punishable by death. Yet the vision of a new nation, born of self-governance, burned brighter than any fear. They signed it, a sacred pledge of lives, fortunes, and honor. The struggle now was not just for fairer treatment, but for complete freedom. Their commander, George Washington, a man of quiet strength and unwavering determination, led an army of farmers and patriots. They faced overwhelming odds, suffering crushing defeats. The bitter winter at Valley Forge tested their very souls. Hunger, disease, and freezing cold ravaged their ranks. Many questioned if the dream would survive. Follow for more powerful true history. But Washington, a beacon in the storm, held them together. He inspired them not just to fight, but to endure. Hope arrived across the ocean in the form of French ships and soldiers, turning the tide, giving the fledgling nation a chance. The war dragged on, a brutal dance of victory and defeat, blood and sacrifice, until finally, after years of relentless struggle, the end came into view. At Yorktown, Virginia in 1781, the combined American and French forces cornered the British Army. The siege was swift, decisive. The world watched as a global empire, for the first time, was forced to yield to an improbable rebellion. The sound of surrender, the lowering of the British flag, marked not an end, but a beginning. Across the land, cheers erupted, bells rang, and tears of joy streamed down weary faces. The impossible had been achieved. A new nation, founded on the radical idea of liberty and self-rule, was born from the fires of revolution. It was a testament to the enduring power of people fighting for what they believe in. From rebellion came a nation. Subscribe for more untold history.